closer. There we go. Oh, gotta love power outages. So, anywho, in the meantime, while I was down, finally was able to get this thing going. I just uninstalled it and reinstalled it, and the ended up working just fine. Okay, this makes okay. Am I live or? Oh my gosh, YouTube. Come on, guys. Oh, awesome. And no, that's not accurate either. Just loads of fun and excitement. Let's see if I can get this. No, there we go. Maybe, hopefully. And save. Okay. Video. So awesome. Cool, great, so awesome. Okay. Alright, pre-flight. I don't even know if this will pull up my old info. And it does. Cool. Grab my old MD-83, load that. Make sure, yep. Or 16.4 trip, 82, 65, taxi fuel, 800, block 16, 428, and flight plan. Okay. I wonder if I need to do another. Great. See messages, crew message. Okay. And receive messages, flight plan. Okay, flight plan, cruise wind. Oh, nice. Okay. Alright, so I guess we gotta go back to number 1. And Kilo Delta Foxtrot Whiskey. And see if this works here. KMSY. Okay, activate. I'm gonna go ahead and get my route down first, and then focus on everything else here in a bit. Okay, 16.4. Yeah, the only downside, I really wish they would allow us to use this other FMC. Group message, loadout, 117.4. Lots of jumping around. 17.4. And reserves. Oh. See, I know I initially said 35,000, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to do 33,000, and it should be good. I want some, yeah, I mean, I totally appreciate the fact of, you know, the ACARS adding a new functionality, but just, I don't know, maybe I'm more of a purist, I guess, you know, kind of give me old paper relief so, you know, I can have everything in front of me. And, you know, if you're not going to open the secondary FMC up, it makes it a little difficult to try to navigate back and forth. 27945. $128. 133. 142. Okay. I honestly think that is about. That's about it. Let's zoom in there. Okay. I think we've flown this departure like 4 times already today. Hopefully this will be the last one. Let's go ahead and separate trim and trim set. Cool. Alright, that's done, that's done. Let's see.
PA and emergency light test.
Emergency light's okay.
Okay, we're just going to assume we're boarded at this point because I'm not going to go through that entire boarding process. All doors are closed. Alright. Okay. Hydraulics are on. Okay, fuel pumps. Fuel pumps are on. Ignition on. Seatbelt signs armed. I'll turn that off for now.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Galley power off.
Locking gear.
And 147.
Departure check completed. Bypass bin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Alright, parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, I'm gonna double check, make sure we're clear on the right. Ignition's on, fuel pumps are on. Got pneumatic pressure. Go ahead and turn start pump off, and we'll go ahead and start that right engine. Awesome. Like she's coming up there, and this will leach all of your bleed air power, so make sure you get your packs off. Alright, there's 23%. Okay, start valve closed for right engine. Check, make sure we're clear on the left hand side. Go ahead and start the left engine. Okay, right, 23%. Okay, start valve closed. And I see our flaps are already mostly down, so we're gonna them set to 15. Part of that flight deck acceptance check, make sure all your flaps are up, spoilers up, throttles idle, all that fun stuff. But you know how that goes. Alright, so while that's doing that, we'll go ahead and get the air conditioning. There we go. Gotta have the air conditioning. No, air conditioning packs. Those should be both on. Bleed air off on the APU. And turn off the left and right APU bus. APU off. Ignition off. And let's see. There's windshield and the pilot heat on. And while they're over there fiddling around with that, we'll go ahead and get our flight directors set. Got that going on there. Nav is armed as well.
Flight is clear.
Hey, how's it going? And welcome to the stream there. Appreciate you guys for swinging in. It's been quite an eventful Sunday afternoon. Alright, have a good trip, so we should be good to go. Where are we at? Okay, anti-skid armed. Yeah, damper on. And just a quick overview, make sure everything's good to go. Make sure those cross bleed valves are closed. Alright, gotta get power on. And yep, taxi lights on and should be good to go. Alright, go ahead and jump on the brakes here. And just a little slight bump on the power, get her rolling, and we'll bring it back there. Let's see where we're going. Oh, we are heading to New Orleans, Louisiana. Just downloaded the new Latin VFR scenery down there, so I'll check that out and hopefully have a fairly uneventful flight. Hopefully. Now yesterday there was a huge low pressure system coming through the area, so had some difficulties to say the least. I did a few flights here and there yesterday, but weather was not having it, so hopefully they'll be a little better. Hopefully. I got failures turned on this airplane, but we went through the weekly checks. Did have an issue with the pneumatic pressure coming off the APU, as well as I think what else? Low hydraulic quantity was another deficiency we found, and a dead battery. So had to get all that taken care of. And yeah, much rather take this thing than the Airbus. Even though she does have a little character, to say the least. But really impressed with the PBR flight deck with the new update. A-cars, not, I don't know. A-cars I can go either way on. Will go better. yeah, it was definitely had some issues this morning. And I wonder if it was so much of the update. Maybe I botched the update, or maybe it was a legitimate failure. Because the main issue, those of you who are just chiming in, we started out a flight, started up a flight earlier today, and got everything going. Went through the whole hoopla with the A-car system, which, you know, like I said, A-car is great, but you know, it just kind of adds an additional 30 minutes on top of the preparation process. But so get all that set up, and we're getting ready to push back and get going, and no pneumatic pressure from the APU. Okay, happens, no big deal. We're getting AC power from the APU, so the generator was functioning, but we just wasn't getting any bleed air. So no biggie. You know, we'll get the start cart and push pneumatic air that way, and get your engine spun up and do all that. No dice, nothing. So yeah, I mean, at that point, I mean, you're pretty much dead in the water. Can't start the engines up. So attempted to troubleshoot real quick. That didn't work. Then fired up the fired up the old scare bus, semi-air bus, and we're about halfway to New Orleans, and then the power dies in the entire neighborhood. So yeah, it's been a very eventful Sunday for me, but come hell or high water, we will get to New Orleans, one way or the other. Worst case, I guess we'll have to pull out the Falcon 50 or something, or Falcon 50, F-14, something. We'll get to New Orleans eventually. Oh yeah, oh yeah. A few issues here and there, but it happens. You know, it adds a little more to the excitement of, especially this aircraft. You know, she's showing her age, so you know it's imperative to make sure you fire up the load manager and double check your maintenance tab and make sure you don't have any pending issues. Sorry, missed it. Oh, no biggie. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. So we're just gonna do a standard takeoff today. Not gonna derate it at all. Not gonna derate it at all. We're just gonna standard takeoff to the north, and we'll make a gentle bank to the southeast. March 2 departure. So it's fairly short flight, shortish. It's about 409 miles, about an hour and 15 minutes. But I think with the winds, we should do it in about, I don't know, maybe an hour or so, give or take. So we're getting pretty close here. So let's do a quick flight control check. Make sure our little tabs are functioning out there. See, I don't even know if this works. This might work. Oh yeah, I didn't even go through that section. Didn't even go through that section. I think we're like 117th. Hope some other. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. I stream at really odd times, so it's no surprise. Most of my audience, they normally chime in after the stream's over and post on the comments here and there. And we'll go ahead and roll those engines back and get ourselves set up for takeoff. 10 p.m. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, it is almost 3 p.m. here in where I'm at in the US. Alright, strobe lights on. And we'll try get down a break there. Spoilers are armed. Ignition set to both. I will assume the cabin crew is notified, and for takeoff checklist complete, and we'll assume we got clearance from ATC. Double check my speeds, make sure funnel's clear, runway is clear, and we're gonna say we just a little bit. Just a little bit. Alright, so we'll head out here. Runway 35 left, and we'll be getting set up for a left turn soon after. So it's pretty busy here in the Mad Dog on takeoff, so we'll kind of pace ourselves and get lined up. Alright, so we'll roll the engines up to 1.4 EPR. Nice. Nice and easy, and the flaps are set. What are you talking about? The flaps are set. Flaps 15, unless, oh, look at this dollar flap. So there we go, flaps 15. There we go. Now, in theory, we should be ready to go. Good thing we brought the whole out runway. So we're still at 1.4. And we'll click in the auto throttle. And we'll just kind of follow the throttles up. Trying not to overboost the engines. Alright, clamped up nicely. Now sometimes they'll wonder, just gotta stay on top of them and watching your speed. Okay. And grip.
Gear up, lights out.
Okay. Alright, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and press that VNAV button. Start lowering the angle of attack. And accelerating. Trim up here just a little bit. Start working out some retracting flaps here. Okay.
Flap 0.
And retract the slats.
Slats retracted. Climb thrust set.
Okay. Lots of trim. Turn on auto real quick. One of the nuances to the MD-80 is we need to turn down our hydraulic pumps to low and our trans and auxiliary pump to off, which reduces our hydraulic pressure there. I think like 1500 or something like that. 1600, give or take. Looks like it's lining out there, so we're good there. Okay, looks like we're making that right turn. So far, so good. And at this point, we can go ahead and turn off that ignition, double check our pressurization panel. Neurones is a little bit in the negative. So we'll set that accordingly. Oh, thank you. Let's see. All right, coming out of 7,000 feet. And last but not least, this is normally done in the before takeoff checklist right there at the whole short line. make sure your radar is on, and normally I set it to like 1.5 degrees up, nose up, and that normally works for me. I forgot honestly what the FCOM calls for, but you know. Alright, so auto brake off. And floodlights off, I'll need those. And so far so good, everything looks good up here. Main things I want to make sure is our both left and right packs are functioning, and make sure cabin is starting to climb. And coming up there on 10,000 feet, and we'll go ahead and retract the landing lights. And let's take both signs off. And yeah, should be good to go. Looks like we're accelerating to 300 knots syndicated and climbing up to flight level 330. So a little busy on the MD-83, but you know, it's one of the nuances I do appreciate about the aircraft, that you know, you're just kind of not a situation to where, you know, just kind of take off and press a couple of buttons and, you know, you're good. Which, I mean, more, you know, I mean, more or less you're kind of doing that, but, you know, there's a few little additional steps you have to do. But like I said, fairly short flight. Once she gets up there and lines out, we should see a pretty decent ground speed. One would hope. And let's see. Yep, should be. It is. It's a little more challenging. You know, there's a little more engagement between the, you know, the pilot and the aircraft, which, you know, personally I kind of enjoy. Oh yeah, I got you. I knew what you meant. But oh yeah, totally agreed. There is a little more engagement, but it's something I, you know, definitely appreciate. You know, especially, you know, since the whole stereotype of tube liners, you know, you just kind of press a button and there you go. Which, I mean, in all honesty, that's kind of what they're designed to do. They're designed for safety and efficiency, and unfortunately safety and efficiency are fairly boring, in all honesty. So, but in the sim, you know, you kind of want that little bit, you know, a little bit of excitement there to kind of, you know, keep things interesting, especially when you're tube lining. And you know, this is where aircraft like this for me come into play, because you know, there's a lot for one person to keep up with. Normally, this is a two-person operation, you know. So, you know, having to, you know, pretty much operate the aircraft by yourself adds a much welcome challenge. Let's see, so we got a ACARS message, so we'll go ahead and check that. See what it says. So to get to the ACARS, we'll go to the menu and ACARS, AOC standard, see the messages, load sheet, app acknowledge. It's pretty much what we got there. I think deserve field weight initially it was like 117.8, and I think that's what we got. So should be good to go. En route, I haven't even looked at this. So it's like we were on out at 1943, off at 1954. So, and I complain about the A cars. Honestly, it's mostly because I'm lazy and really don't want to deal with it. But it does add, another flavor of realism to everyday operations. Gives you gives you the capability to do quite a bit. Handle diversions, maintenance issues here and there. I remember you used to have to contact the company on a UHF radio in order to communicate with them. Now you don't even have to do that. Just send a simple text message. Hey, we're having whatever issues, and they can respond likewise via text message, which is nice. I mean, it's was not something I necessarily had to have, but it's nice. It's yeah. It is nice. So I don't think we can get weather. I don't think we can on here. I know on the FS Labs version, the FS Labs A320, with their new A-Cars update, which I think you can get weather information on the FS Labs A320 anyway. But I think they just kind of gave it a little more capability. So you can get en route weather, segments, I think. I think the only nuance with segments is that you have to. I think we're 18,000 feet. Yeah, my transition altitude. Yeah, so we're 2992 on the altimeter. Yeah, okay. So yeah, segments, METARs. I think the flight plan needs to be processed through Active Sky in order to really get the full functionality of it. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, I know as far as both development houses, FS Labs and FlyTheMaddog X, it's kind of a long name. Anyway, they both added A-Cars as their main feature, but I don't know. This panel to me is just gorgeous. I could have totally just got the PBR update and not really worried about the A-Cars and totally been fine. But I mean, I'm not picky. I'll take what I can get. But like I said, it is a handy tool. But really, you can do just the same. Get you a either use whatever flight following software you have, and tune to the nearest AWAS or ADIS station and get your weather information that way. I think the range is like 50 miles for ADIS, or 50 or 60 miles for ADIS, and tune to the nearest ADIS station and get your weather. I mean, it's all the same. All the same, but I mean, just an amazing model. Awesome model. I think they're literally down to I think less than like 10 of these they're still even active. I don't even think those are active now. They're actually in service with American. Delta, I believe, has already phased out their Mad Dog fleet. I think they're still flying the 717, if I'm not mistaken. But An amazing, amazing airplane. I really don't think they could make this much better other than like the shared cockpit functionality, which the older version had the shared cockpit functionality, but for whatever reason, they decided to focus on one or two. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's very, very sad to see him go. You know, I came up in that age to where, you know, 70% in the US, I would, you know, venture to say 70% of your medium to short to medium routes were flown by, you know, a McDonnell Douglas aircraft of some sort. And um, nowadays, you're hard pressed to see one, you know, unless maybe like you're in Dallas Fort Worth. But I think by the end of this year, they're pretty much going to be gone since they're all being replaced by like the CRJ series, 700, the 900, the E-Jet series, the 170, 175, 195. You know, they can do the same job for with less fuel, you know, and less maintenance. So, you know, companies are going to do what they have to do to maintain a profit. So, I mean, that part I understand, but doesn't make it any easier. These guys kind of have a soft spot for them. So, I don't know. I'm sure. Oh, really? Oh, wow. And then I think Airbus has this new. I know Delta Airlines just purchased. Actually, think they're currently running them right now, but the Airbus A220. I think Delta bought quite a few of those, and they're flying those. And I mean, I have to say they do look pretty nice, but um, it's unfortunate. But there's literally, I mean, we have so many options now. I mean, it's tough to justify the cost to continue to operate the Mad Dogs. I mean, that's not to say they may not find new homes. Maybe um, with I know there's some carriers that that like to run them in Africa, perhaps South America. You know, they may find a few may find homes there. Perhaps freighters. I know Everett's Cargo. They ran a couple in the past as freighters, but I'm sure that'll only account for maybe a few airframes. Holy smokes. My phone. Yeah, that'll only account for a few airframes, and after that, that's pretty much it. But I mean, in hindsight, I mean, heck, there's still 727s that are still flying, so maybe like one or two, but I think we should be. Yeah, I'm trying not to worry. I think we'll be. I think they'll still keep a few flying here and there. I am really loving this panel though. Holy smokes. I remember when it wasn't marketed as FlyTheMaddog X. It was actually Leonardo SH or something like that. I can't think of the name now, but back when the first iteration of the MD-80 was released, it didn't even have a virtual panel. It just had your regular 2D panel. I don't even think this thing has a 2D panel now. And for the longest, everyone was, asking, let's see, yeah, well, we're at 30,000. Bam, there we go. Just set our cruise rate, or thrust rating to cruise. But everyone was asking, hey, when are we gonna get a virtual cockpit and this and that? And this is back. Oh man, I think it was before FXX. A long time ago, and there was no word. You didn't hear anything, and by this time that you start seeing a lot of developers transition into the virtual cockpit, and so everyone was wondering, when we're going to get it and things like that, and we finally got the virtual cockpit, and the performance was horrible. Now, mind you, this was, oh man, what, 2003? 2004 maybe? Or maybe 2005, and that range of, at that time frame. We've had this aircraft with, which it did for its time, had a awesome virtual cockpit, but it's just no one could run it. Like what, 600 megahertz piniums and things like that, and no one could run it. And after that, the gentleman just kind of fell off the face of the map. No one heard anything. Everyone thought the project was dead. And here we go. A couple years ago, we started getting these screenshots, and now we have this, and it's quite amazing to kind of think back and how far this developer has gone as far as technology and feature wise. It's actually quite amazing. I mean, I was getting pretty desperate for a Mad Dog at the time. It was so bad. I think I went, I bought X-Plane, and then I tried. They have a version of a MD-83. It's actually pretty good, but it just wasn't the same. There's a lot of things that were missing, systems wise, and really didn't do it for me. So I was really, really excited when he finally released it for P3D. So, I mean, not exactly sure what else he can do. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some refinements. Now, mind you, this update is the beta release, so the final version is not out just yet. However, once everything becomes finalized and all the bugs and things like that. Yes, exactly. Almost 20 years ago. That's all we had. See, the biggest ones were Flight 1, which no, it was published by Flight 1, but we had Digital Aviation's Falcon 100. They had a 100 version and the 70 version of the Fokker. That one had no virtual cockpit, and we had this one. Yep, with the virtual cockpit, it was almost unflyable. And yeah, we had this one. which back then it had the shared cockpit capability, which I think that came out around 2008, 2009 was when he released it with the shared cockpit capability, which was just groundbreaking. I mean, it was earth shattering, being able to share the same flight deck with two people. You know, so I mean, this guy just, I mean, you know, a lot of, you know, you have a lot of people talk about, you know, your PMDGs and, you know, your flight sim labs, you know, all those other guys, but you know, those individuals like I think David was one of the developers on the team, but you have guys like that, you know, who set the standard. Just got the game. Any advice on, or can I share the content and see how you do? I don't think now there is. Oh yes, very ahead of its time. Now they don't. We don't have the capability to share a cockpit on this version just yet, but it's coming. Um, as of right now, it's just a single pilot. However, if you are itching to have that shared cockpit experience, there are some options. There is a developer called TFDI or TDFI. I can't think of which order. But they have a 717 that is completely shared cockpit capable. So, great airplane. In fact, the MD-80 FlyTheMaddog X actually utilized the same, and they have it. Oh yeah, they do have the if you're okay, so yeah, I'm on the P3D version, so um, this version doesn't have it, but yes, you are correct. The Flight Sim X version does have it, I believe. Yeah, I'm on P3D. I'm sorry, bud, but let me see here. I tell you what, let me see if I can find a how to. It's been years. Let's see here. Let's see. See if I can find it for you. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it for you. Let's see. You're really waiting for a shared cockpit version. Okay. Man, I don't see it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't see it. I used to do it all the time. I had a buddy of mine. We used to run trips all the time in it. But yeah, there is. If you check out their forums and dig around, you might be able to get a little information on it. On I think it's like flythemaddogx.com. You may be able to find some information that could lead you in the right direction there. But yeah, I would indeed love the shared cockpit functionality on this thing. It's like I said, it's those of you who do have P3D, it is coming. It's just not here yet. I think he's probably gonna iron out a few things, I'm sure, before making the making that feature available. I'll turn that light off. Let's see here. We miss out. Yeah, that should be off there. There we go. I was wondering, like, what the heck's going on? All right, let's see where we're at. So we're at 486 knots ground speed. Why is I'm not waking up tomorrow? No, no worries. First of all, thank you so much for swinging by. I'm hopefully I'll be able to stream again before I leave, but if not, feel free to kind of check in or check your notifications if you haven't subscribed and hit the little notification dealy. And so anytime I come up, you know, you'll be able to see me. So cool. No worries. You have a good night. Me too. Alrighty, let's see. So we are 205 nautical miles out. Awesome. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll be crossing Sawmill here shortly. I think it's Sierra Whiskey Bravo, but I think that's like the Sawmill VOR. Just where the heck is it? So where is it? It's somewhere in Louisiana. I forget where it's at. But yeah, it's Winfield, Louisiana. Okay. So yeah, the Sawmill Vortex in Louisiana. We're about 94 nautical miles out. So normally what I'll try to do, we'll go ahead and get ourselves set up for the approach. And let's see, here's what else we'll do. Jump into plan mode. The legs, and let's see, we'll just kind of roll through. So we got all that. Let's see. HRV. So what would probably happen? They would probably have you cross Audad and just do a left downwind for 2-9. We could do that. Yeah, we could do that. We can yeah, we could do that. So HRV, we're just assuming that we're going to be getting vectors. And I think you can probably jump in your ACARs and, I don't know, en route. Excuse me. Probably pick your ETA, your fuel on board, and some free text here and there, whatever, and send it. I'm assuming. I don't know. There is a addendum that he added to for your reading pleasure. I also just hadn't read it yet. So it looks like this even kind of made that turn, but the winds are almost a straight 90-knot crosswind. So we're probably going to lose a little bit of ground speed on that. It shouldn't be too bad, I imagine. What we can do, go back to our progress page. And just kind of double check ourselves. So this is one of those situations where you just can't really rely on the flight management computer. I say that because we're right at around 200 miles out. Our top of descent isn't until 103 nautical miles, and we're at 33,000 feet. So we're going to be mindful of our distance. And what we'll have to do, we may just have to kind of interpolate the top of the descent. There is a calculation that you can run to get your actual top of descent. So normally you would. Oh, Mr. Woods, what's going on, bud? How's it going, man? So I'm trying to, let's see, let me think if I can remember this off the top of my head. So you want to divide the altitude that you have to lose by the rate of descent in feet per minute. So like, for example, if you would divide, let's say, I don't know, 9,000 feet. So you would divide 9,000 feet by like 500 feet per minute, and that tells us that that'll tell you that that will tell you that you will need to begin your descent like roughly like 18 minutes from the field or something like that. Just think it's a rough ballpark of the calculation. Then there's another one which I do not remember that will give you the distance upon which you will need to begin your descent. But given that we're about 33 miles out, I would lean to say that maybe 170 miles out. 150 probably be like the absolute limit. In fact, we may push it to like 160, and we'll start a descent about 160 miles out. Because if we wait for 85 miles, I'll be way too close. Way too close. So while we're waiting on that, see, our runway will be 29. So we'll go ahead and get our ILS set up for 29, and let's see, our front course to 286. And we'll pull up our speed card. Cross-reference that. And see, it's kind of see where we're at. And like I said, we'll wait for like 160 or so and start our descent. Normally we'll be stepped down, so it may tell you to descend to 210 or something like that, and just kind of walk you down from there. Can't help but just not look at this panel. Oh yeah, finally. Oh, total disaster. Absolute disaster. Still hadn't quite figured out what it was. I'm not sure if it was a legitimate mechanical failure or it was maybe something with the update, you know, being that the update's still in beta. Normally you would get some sort of text indication saying, hey, this failed or something like that, or whatnot. But what I thought was weird was the fact that both the APU and the start card didn't work. Normally we should at least be able to get pneumatic pressure using the start card, but it was not happening. I really did not want to. I'm almost glad that the power went out because I really did not. I like the Airbus for what it is, but I really have to be in the mood for an Airbus flight. I just was not in the mood for an Airbus flight. Just was not in the mood for one, sir. But I do what I must. Alright, 161. And we'll just jump into old trusty vertical speed mode. And there we go. Good old vertical speed. And just kind of watch it from there. You know, aircraft this age, I mean, you're normally not just flying in VNAV the whole entire time. You're gonna want to, you know, use vertical speed, whatever you have to use to get the performance you want. And like as I said, there's more often than not, it's not going to be always. It's not going to be in vertical speed mode. But yeah, I found it very weird that it did that on me, Mr. Woods. I couldn't quite figure it out. We went through all the little, try to fix the failure and everything, and I fired it back. I uninstalled it, reinstalled it, fired it back up. But this time I didn't start in cold and dark. I started it with the aircraft running, and I just shut everything down, and as if it was in like a turnaround state, and put up the start card and got air, fired up the APU, got air, and said, oh, okay, so I guess we'll call it slick. But I mean, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards it may have been, you know, the method I installed, the way I installed it. Because really what you want to do when you download, especially like these beta updates, is you want to remove every instance of that particular aircraft, wherever it may be. So like I uninstalled it and deleted the folders and then reinstalled it, and yeah, worked just fine. So I don't know, it's the weirdest thing, but I mean, with the update flying it, I mean, the biggest thing for me is the visual additions. I think there were some other improvements, I believe, but of course in the, you know, the added on the A cars and all that fun stuff, which is, it's cool. But yeah, okay, so yeah, so Delta Airlines will soon say goodbye to its entire McDonnell Douglas fleet. Ah, yes, and I have that scenery. They do, and I am using version 4.5, and it looks fantastic. However, I am using GSX gates. So the jet bridges from GSX, I'm using those, and it looks pretty good to me. I haven't had any issues with it. I know yesterday, and of course, yesterday, I'm sure down there, you guys are getting a lot of rain. If y'all probably getting the rain we had yesterday, but there's a lot of weather, and I was trying to at least do like a little touch and go there, but just was not happening. And so I don't know if there's any. I'm not sure if you've ran into it. I run into it all the time, but where you install a scenery and the elevation isn't quite right in some areas, and you end up crashing. So I'm not sure if it's that. If that is the case, I need to figure out where it's at and then run the and then or just run the elevation airport elevation correction in Orbix or the FTX Central, that is, and pray that fixes it. But yeah, we'll find out here in a minute. But yeah, so basically, Delta is getting MD-88s have been planned to leave the fleet in 2020, and they want to phase out the MD-90 sooner than that. So if you want to take a ride on an MD-80, you probably want to do it here pretty quick, because they are going to be gone. Alright, so what did I say? 3,000? We're probably set for 4,000. Right now we're coming down 21,800 for 4,000. Should hit 4,000 right by Audad. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is decrease our rate to set just a little bit to about 1,700, and that way we won't drag too much into New Orleans. I figured this on the. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, speaking of New Orleans, they got slammed yesterday by some weather. I'm not sure if how accurate it was, but it was an absolute mess. Because I was gonna try to get into New Orleans yesterday, and it just wasn't happening. I just downloaded the scenery, and I loaded it up, and I set the aircraft up there, just kind of look around. Okay, it installed, but yeah, flying into it just was not working out for me at all. All right, 110 miles out. Cool. Oh yeah, that low pressure system was nasty. I know we got a lot of hail here, and I think they said Vicksburg got a tornado, I believe. Jones County around Ellisville, they got some bad weather down there as well. But yeah, it was pretty nasty. I'm surprised I'm not seeing anything on the radar here. maybe I should test to make sure it works. Okay, cool. Yep, it works. Yeah, it works. Alright. So, yeah, it might not be really much going on today. It's a good thing. Alright, let's see. 16,000. Yeah, so there's speed up to 250. Seatbelt signs on. One would assume, though, that you should be able to get weather. Okay, ATIS, airport, Kilo, Mike, Sierra, Yankee, and then and awesome, cool. Let's go to received messages, ATIS. Awesome. Now that's handy. That is handy. So, yep, it's favoring runway 28 or 29 still. Winds 310 at 12, so it slowed up a little bit. Visibility 10. View at 3,500, view at 25,000. Temperature 19, dew point 8. Cool. That does make life a lot easier. Actually, let me look and see what else they have in here. So, weather request, hourly weather, see what that is. Okay. Weather report. Oh, okay, so yeah, pretty much the same. I figured you get like a TAF or something like that, but yeah, it's pretty much the same info. So let's go back menu. Okay. All right. Shallow. My red is thin out just a little bit. Way down to 250. Let's kind of meander around 250. I'm going to set it 240. Here we go. 240 there. I may have to bump the spoilers a little bit. Alright, so I can come on down. Come on down and alright, go ahead and get out the spoilers. Okay, so we're at 9,000 feet. Landing lights on, and we'll go ahead and turn on these hydraulic pumps. Oops. Double check pressurization. That's good there. Packs look good. Let's see. Drag my descent out a little bit. And let's see. Man, I really don't want that there. There we go. And okay, cool. Okay. And we'll set for about 1,000 foot per minute. And the city of New Orleans is there 12 o'clock. Thanks. Helmet, okay. Alright. And probably, I think what we'll do, we'll set for 5,000 and we'll just hold 5,000 till we pass our QR. Kind of. 41 miles. Probably barely. Visibility's decent, but not the best. Kind of. Mr. Airport. think we're pretty much set up. I mean, other aircraft you can go ahead and set your auto brake, but on the MD-80, it's in conjunction with the landing gear, so the gear has to be down in order for you to arm it. Otherwise, it just continuously fails. Like I said, everything else is pretty much good to go. I'm kind of dragging it in here a little bit. Which there's the airport there. My plan is to try to hit breeze and shorten our approach a little bit. That's the plan, at least. Okay, there's the airport. I think there's a road that parallels the runway. I think that's it there. I left out of that airport in many a day. Alright, let's see. Slow this thing down here. About 210. And we'll start introducing some flaps. Some at least the slats try to help us slow down. Okay, bring it down to 180. Let's double check. And yeah, we're well under the limitation for flaps. 11. Set that for go around. And set this up for continuous ignition. No localizer. 291090. Oh, I think that is DME though. Should be increasing. Yep, okay. Okay, altitude hold right there. There's flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
Okay. Oops. Start making that slow. Turn over. And we'll also direct freeze. That'll help us out. We got DME, just no localizer. I find that interesting. Okay. And I'll go ahead and update the controls. And snag the auto throttle. And gear down. Flaps 15.
Gear down.
Oh, flaps 28.
Flaps 28.
Now, it would be nice if I could somehow meander over here, arm this and not kill myself. Okay, good. I just hope I don't have any weirdness at this airport and ruin a perfectly good flight. I just found that crazy. I got no... Oh, there it is. And of course, I'm gonna fight this 20 knot headwind. So I'm gonna use my pitch to control my speed. So lifting the nose up, and you can kind of see my speed bleeding off, and using my power to control my altitude, which I'm high, of course, in the glide slope, so I'm pretty much idled out. I got them cracked just a little bit, so if I need to come up with them real quick, I can. I got a little bit of a wind shift. So, alright, there's my glide slope, so I'm going to go ahead and get under it. Go ahead and come up with it. It was a little windy, so it's kind of use a little forward slip. landing.
400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40.
Yeah.
20. 10.
Take it over a little bit. Alright. Did not crash. Awesome. Awesome.
60 knots. First lights out.
Okay. Alright. Boilers up. And try to get clear to active, and apparently I can't go that way. Not go that way, so what we have to do is come back up, and I'll just cross runway here shortly. Continue to get cleaned up. Lights off. And off. Auto brake off. AP on. Steering pumps low. Don't need steering pumps anymore. And radar off. Now I don't know, can I cross here to get? Yep, I think I can. Okay. There's my APU coming up. Holy smokes, an entire day of trying to get to New Orleans. Goodness gracious. And just FYI, anytime you cross the runway, strobe lights and landing lights need to be on, but yeah. Didn't hear that from me. Okay, we'll make this left-hand turn, or right-hand turn. Normal left, my right. Okay. Not sure what that is. That's interesting. Let's see. Galley power off. I think we could probably kill number 1. We'll crack open 2 just a little bit. Let's see here. I guess it would help a 5, no, American. Helps a little bit. Come on, give me a roll. There we go. There we go. I don't know how this is gonna work. It's gonna be a mess. Dude, I can't see you. Can't see your arms. Way too close. Way too close. 0. And okay. Yep, can't see you. That's okay. Alright. Part a bit short, yeah. Yeah. Okay. No jetway can operate in this position because you pulled me like so bloody close. Yeah, you like made me overshoot. That's fine. We made it. That's the main thing. And I appreciate you guys hanging out there with me. And yeah, so I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Sunday. And hope you guys, those of you who aren't home, Mr. Woods, you take care of yourself and be careful on that road. And we'll see you guys later.